The Cave Digger franchise has been a very successful franchise in VR, with people saying that it's some of the most hidden gems when it comes to VR games, but that they're really good. They're now dropping an early experience for number 3, where you can try mixed reality Quest 3, Quest Pro. It also lists the Quest 2, even though this listing says it's for Quest 3 and Pro, probably because they're looking for the full color mixed reality. You're in your home environment, you set up your stations where you want them, and then it transforms into mixed reality in a cave. You're exploring the cave and trying to find the gems. You get the gems, you feed Chompy, and there's going to be a lot that's very familiar to you if you've played any of the Cave Diggers, or this might get you to actually want to play them. With that, only 2 people have rated it so far because it's been out for like a week, giving it 1 5-star rating and 1 4-star rating, with a 4.5 as the rating. It's definitely one, if you're looking for more mixed reality, it's something to check out. The moment it transforms your home into the cave is pretty cool, but the way you have your room set up and the walls, you need to actually have that real space so the cave transforms correctly. Otherwise, you're going to be tripping over your couch and stuff trying to get around the cave to get those gems. Dungeon Maker has been on my list to check out for a while, and I'm really glad I finally got in. With the mixed reality modes that you've got in it, this game is still in a very early beta. Keep that in mind. Even just to get in, experiment in your play space with making your own dungeon that you can move through. It's really freaking cool. You've got all these different options. It feels very early access though. You have to like click on each item to figure out what it is. If you haven't before, bring it into your play space. You add too much and you might end up crashing it and losing what you've done. I'm telling you right now, if you like anything to do with dungeon crawlers, if you like playing around with VR and technology, check this out just to play around with it. And even then, if you want to just like make a space around you and then show it to someone, the way you can demo it and have them crawling through these creepy tunnels, it feels visceral and real enough that it's like the threats in it feel threatening. And although it's been out for a while, some of the new modes and the color pass-through and the mixed reality, people have brought this back up again as something that you've got to check out. And with that, the 4D ratings have been around a while, but a lot of the newer ratings are really good, saying it's really fun, it's a cool concept, saying they want to see VR hands and more, and people saying it's really good. It's got 48% 5-star, but 18% 1-star. People saying it's got the pitfalls other experiences do. If you try and take the headset off and pass it to somebody, the play space might move, messing up everything you've built. There's sometimes crashes, and I even saw as I kept building more and more stuff and overloading my play space, it ended up crashing on me. But like the feeling when you stand over one of the holes you've put in the ground that drops a long ways into spikes, it kind of gave me back that early Richie's Plank experience feelings. A couple notes to keep in mind: make sure you set up some soundscapes to add some creepy dungeon atmosphere to it. And once you have it set up, there's actually different quests you can put in. People have to find a key, they have to get past an enemy, and then it can even open up to another dungeon you've built in the play space. It's a really neat idea. If you've got a Quest 3 with the color pass-through, I would just say check this out, build something for fun, and let me know in the comments what you thought of it, because I was really surprised by this one. JankerMan is a great name for it because it's got some jank. This game just came out last month, and it reminds me a lot of like a Rec Room version of Space Pirate Trainer or even Mother Gunship Forge. Although the more you get into the game, the more you see the work they've actually put into this for this only being an alpha and being completely free to try. You start out the game and you've got a gun on one hand, waves of enemies coming at you, and every time you get through a wave, you get an upgrade option, although you grab it and you have to press the button on top, which wasn't totally clear to me, although if you do the tutorial, you'll be fine. And then if you've collected enough resources from the enemies you've destroyed, you can use that to either upgrade the weapon, get a second weapon, bring in turrets, and ultimately you're trying to see how long you can survive to set the high score. Between the upgrades, there is some depth to it, some moving and dodging. You've got a shield to help you block, but one detail that was really cool is you actually have a body and arms, so you can't just put your shield and then stick your hand through it. You have to actually reach around the shield, leaving you slightly exposed. A cool detail that made me excited for alpha, and it's too early. It's only got 1 5-star rating with nothing written about it. Could even be from the developers themselves. But if you're into these kind of wave defense roguelike games, I would say JankerMan's definitely worth checking out. Big Scary was actually suggested by a bunch of you. This is a gorilla tag style game, although this is the horror version of that. There's different kinds of monsters that are going to try and chase you down through different environments in this, including some familiar ones like the back rooms. And of course, being a gorilla tag style game, even though this is relatively new, just coming out this summer, it already has nearly 1,500 ratings with about a 4.5-star rating. Mostly 5-star reviews at 79% and 7% 1 stars. People directly reaching out to the creator, who goes by Shrek, which you can actually even see. They've made monuments to all the beta testers, and Shrek is shown in that same room as one of them as the avatars. People saying it's a very fun game. They keep almost crapping themselves. And of course, if you jump down to the 1-star reviews, familiar stories from other gorilla tag-like games, people saying that children are out of control in it. People saying that it's broken. People saying that they accidentally bought something and wouldn't be able to get a refund for it. And people bringing up the toxicity of the other players. A lot of you out there have been asking for free multiplayer horror games, so I guess technically this is one of them. If that's what you're looking for, you might go check out Big Scary, but only if you like gorilla tag style games. Air Hockey VR surprised me for actually feeling a lot like regular air hockey, which I played recently. It's got mixed reality, it's got different environments that look pretty nice, and I was able to get at least into what I thought was an online match, although the online match was a little more laggy. I couldn't see them moving their stick around, and I had to react more to just their puck flying at me really quickly. But whether you try it with some AI or if you actually get into a match with other people, it's a pretty convincing experience. I think the best way to do this is if you had two people, mixed reality, put you in the same room on either end of the table. It would be pretty fun that way. This just came out this summer. It's not very well known, with only 8 ratings, giving it a little over a 4-star. Every written review though people have left is all 5 stars and positive. People saying good, nice, potential, awesome. And as mentioned in one of these reviews here from Citato, it is the physics. They are really solid and it does feel good. If air hockey is something you're looking for, this free one's definitely worth checking out, as it feels pretty realistic. Fans of Prop Hunt may enjoy Hide, which is basically just a prop hunt game. It says hide and seek game played in VR, and you hide by transforming into various objects in the environment. The problem is, being multiplayer at this point, you can't really play the game. You can play it with AI, although I was only able to play as the Seeker with AI that never moved. It stayed in place, so it was very hard to find them. And then when I tried to play another round hoping that it would let me hide and see what the AI Seeker was like, the game froze every time. The environments are decent looking. If you actually had friends and you got in this together, I think it could be fun if the game would actually really run well. But one rating at 2 stars tells you so far it's probably not running that well for people. One mechanic that's different is there's no way for you to take damage. You are firing until you run out of bullets, and then you have to go pick up more bullets as they recharge. So that's the only thing that slows you down from basically just spamming the whole environment. It feels like it's something early, and maybe if they keep working on it, it could get better. But for now, Hide is a game I would hide from. Just Shoot is a fitting name because that is literally all you do. This is a wave shooter where you turn around and shoot things from different directions, although for the most part, the game keeps all of the action to the front 180 degrees, so you're not really having to turn around. By the fact that there is more than one Just Shoot, and it looks like there's another one on Apple that's actually paid, it seems that this may be a demo of that. But technically, they call Just Shoot the free game, and Just Shoot Plus is the paid game. The only real fun I had in the game was shooting the traffic and watching the physics when you shot at it. But as the levels progressed, you'll see here, you do find some levels that get a little creepier, a little darker, and some more menacing enemies coming up on you. But ultimately, it's just a trigger finger tiring simulator. And with that, 5 ratings has it at 4 stars. People saying it's so fun, perfect, and one person giving it a 1 star, but mostly 5-star reviews. If you like wave shooters and repetitiveness, you might get a kick out of it. Not something I'm gonna go back, and I'm not buying the Plus either. Playing the last Sorcerer, you quickly realize it's called that because all the other sorcerers are dead because it's way too hard to be a sorcerer. Now in this game, it's all hand tracking, and that's a big part of the problem. Both of your hands, if you reach up out of your view and come back down, you pop a sword into your hand. If you want to cast a spell, you do a certain weird hand gesture, spin a circle, and then it fires out. Although when you get it just right, especially if you throw 2 of these kind of bombs at the same time, you can get some ragdoll physics. You can really knock your enemies away, and that's kind of fun. But too often you're frantically trying to make this symbol and you're hitting your pause button on your other hand. You're getting shot at from all directions. And it's another example of hand tracking kind of falling short in a game and not having the option of playing with controllers. It's too new and it's too free to have any reviews yet. It says that you face formidable bosses to progress through the game, although I didn't last long enough to get to any bosses. So if you go try this one and you get past the guys with the armor and the archers and find out what's next, let me know in the comments. Maize Mayhem is kind of a weird one, and it's too new to have really any information on it. I jumped into this, and this seems to be some sort of a horror game where you're stuck in a corn maze, so maybe the word maze has a double meaning. Feels like a project one person made, and there's different types of enemies come at you. There's different weapons you can find. They're pretty basic, and the only thing about that really bothered me was when you killed an enemy, they might make a weird sound, but it didn't look like they died. There was no animation. They just disappeared. So sometimes you weren't sure if you'd shot an enemy enough or not. And the other thing that really bothered me was I could not figure out if there was a way to finish the game. There's a scoreboard. There's like keys outlined in the menus. So it seems like you should be able to find keys and either get past or move on. But I killed virtually everything. I got all the way to this flaming tower. I searched all edges of the maze, and it seemed like you just were setting a score. You couldn't go any further. But then going to the description, you find out this is a small section of a full game which should be available in the next few months. The full game's going to have levels, puzzles, and items required to progress through the game. No one has reviewed this yet, but if you're interested in something with a bit of horror, the environment had some decent sounds and stuff. It's free, but ultimately you probably want to wait for the full game to see if you want to do more. That said, I spent a long time because I really wanted to try and see if there was a way to progress further. Unfortunately, there wasn't. Very Real Pizza isn't very real at all, except for the fact that it forces you to use hand tracking. This game or work training experience that it's supposed to be is probably somewhat similar to working in certain pizza chains, but the execution of of it is really bad. When you're trying to use the hand tracking, you're dropping stuff, you're not grabbing the pizzas with the stupid peel that you're trying to do it. You have to fist to grab multiple ingredients. This thing, if only it had multiplayer, because it looks like it should have multiplayer, would actually probably be pretty funny to go and mess around with your friends, but no. If it actually let you use the controllers and it actually functioned properly, you could get kind of that overcooked experience where you're in a hectic kitchen yelling at each other for what you need, but unfortunately it just doesn't deliver on any of these. And with only one rating at 1 star, it's going to be the worst game we've found, at least the worst reviewed game we found in a very long time. They didn't say anything, but I'm guessing it's because they tried to use controllers, because it looks like you should. You see your hands, but you just keep trying to press the start button. It doesn't work. You have to switch to hand tracking, and because the hand tracking is so glitchy an issue, you just can't have fun with this. It's unfortunate because the environment's fine looking, the ingredients, like, it looks like it could be a good time. Maybe if the developer revisits this, they'll make it better, but for now, not worth it unless you really just want to make some dumb videos about it or something. Pizza may not have been real, but at least Grill on Wheels is trying really hard to be a decent food truck simulator. Not only are you actually running a food truck, you set it up, you customize the layout to how you like it, you're actually going to the store, buying the food, loading it up, and actually working your home station through the computer with a working mouse. Although the graphics are really cartoony, it actually is pretty immersive and fun, although there's a lot to the chopping, the prepping. This could feel like work to you if you've ever worked in the restaurant industry before. And with all of that, 27 ratings so far, giving this about a 3.8 star, which is a little rough with most reviews coming in at either 5-star or 3 stars. Some people saying they love the Apple Watch thing and the realism there, but they're having a hard time giving the orders to the customers, although it tells you throw it at the customer, and that's exactly what you do. And that feels kind of good as someone who used to work in the service industry. Other people saying it's a really good game, there's just a few things wrong. Sometimes the food glitches through the counter, which I saw in my pickles when I was trying to chop them, it fell through the counter. People bringing up bugs about the height changing on you, and people just straight up saying it's broken. It's definitely very obvious this is an early build of the game. This is 0.4 version, but it feels like if they can get the collision down and everything, this could actually be a really full and fun food truck simulator. There you have it. You've been asking for more free games to play, whether it's Quest 2, Quest 3, Quest Pro for the few people that have those. It's a bunch more there for you to play. We got more to go through, so we'll have more of these lists coming up. But if you missed before, we have a full list of 200 of them, some more new ones that have come out since then. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.